March is Women's History Month, a time to recognize the diverse accomplishments of women. Here in Michigan, the Career Mastered Awards were recently presented to a group of women who are leaders in their respective careers. This annual event also includes a career fair, professional seminars, and student scholarships. Joining me now is the event's founder, Dr. Lisa Wicker of Lindwick and Associates. She's joined by three of this year's honorees, Andrea Riley of Ally Financial, Master Plumber Adrienne Bennett, and Mycah Slade, who's a fencing champion and student at Cass Technical High School. Thank you to all of you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Lisa, tell me about this event.
Well, Career Mastered Women's History Month is Michigan's leading acknowledgement of women who are making a difference not only in their communities but within their careers. And last evening we honored 31 powerful, influential women who would be able to demonstrate what that looks like to youth from Cass Tech, Eastern University, and Oakland University. And we consider this part of the national celebration, which the theme this year is honoring trailblazing women in labor and business.
Okay, and this is an important event for a number of reasons, but one of them is there is still not enough women who get to this level of success for many reasons, and when they get there, they're not recognized.
Exactly. It's really about, it's twofold. One, we still have some ways to go. I think it's a powerful time to be a woman, but the whole idea is that we as women can do a lot to support one another. So it's women supporting women, collaborating, coming together to help us to get to aspirations that we desire.
Get to that point and then pull somebody back behind you.
Exactly.
Andrea, talk about your career and how this all plays out in that.
Absolutely. So I've spent 20 years on the advertising agency world, running the Chevy account for a number of years. And while I was there, I was actually the first female to ever run the Chevrolet account in the 100-year history of the agency, as well as the youngest woman. And I've always believed that it was very important to set that example for other women. And then I transitioned over to the client side, and now I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Ally Financial. I've been there for about 7 years, and started a women's leadership group at Ally to bring together all the women in what is typically a male-dominated field.
Talk about how the early experiences you had just sort of kept propelling you forward. It sounds like you sort of went to one thing and then another and then jumped the fence sort of onto something else. But each opportunity sort of opens the doors for those others.
Absolutely. I mean, I learned a lot on the agency side, but I learned a lot because, again, I was in a very male-dominated business. And it was important for me because as I looked up, I didn't see any women in leadership positions. And I realized that it wasn't because the agency didn't want to promote women, it was because a lot of women they got frustrated and they quit. And I said to myself, I'm never going to quit. I'm going to do this no matter what because I want to set an example for other women. But I also have 2 boys, and I wanted to set an example for them of what I wanted them to see in women in their life, and to really make sure that they had that in front of them.
Important role modeling for boys from women in addition to girls.
Exactly.
Mycah, you are a fencing champion. I think that is a pretty cool thing. Number one, because I don't know how to fence at all, but I also don't imagine that most kids your age are into fencing. Tell me about that.
So fencing is a great sport for me as an African American female, and in the city of Detroit. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Lisa Wicker for awarding me the Career Master Rising Star Program award, being that I'm the only African American female in the city of Detroit, and she's seen my accomplishments that I've had. And to begin with it all, I started fencing when I was 8 years old. My dad seen an article in the Girls Point newspaper, and they were offering basic fencing classes at the neighborhood club. And he took me there, and before I disliked the sport, I didn't like it at all. And it wasn't until we had a conversation on the ride home about protecting myself in the sport. So the next time I went into practice, I took his advice and it worked out for me. And I've seen great success in the sport. In my first tournament, I placed 3rd place.
Wow. Are there other kids who do this at Cass Tech?
No, I am actually the only.
You are the only.
The only child, the only kid.
But that, I mean, how does that feel? I mean, does that feel okay that you're doing something that no one else is doing?
It's fine, but I wish that we had like more kids in the school could be like introduced to fencing, to a different sport other than just the regular, basketball, football, basic sports in Detroit. And I feel like other schools, like in the suburbs or like in other states such as New York and other places, they have more of an advantage, because they have fencing inside of their high school. It's more of an extra activity to do after school. Whereas for me, I have to go out of the city to find something different to do.
Is this something you'll do, you think, at the collegiate level?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I plan, after I graduate from Cass Tech, I plan to attend Wayne State, and I will study civil engineering and urban planning, and I will fence on their Wayne State fencing team, and someday to fulfill my Olympic dream.
Oh, look at that. I want to go to the Olympics too. That's great. Adrienne, Master Plumber, you told me before the show you're the first female Master Plumber in the state of Michigan, is that right? Or in the country. See, look at that.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Tell
me about that story, how you got started with that.
Well, it's interesting. I was attending a Jimmy Carter Get Out to Vote rally, and a gentleman approached me, and his name was Mr. Gus Dowles, and asked me if I would like to make $50,000 a year. And I asked him, doing what? He says, being a plumber. And I said, really? I said, and so he said, yes. So I missed the part that I asked him, was it legal? And he said, yes. And I said, being a plumber. So, but with the industry, it's a 5-year apprenticeship. I attended the 5-year program, got my journeyman's card, and the city of Detroit recruited me as a plumbing inspector. So I did a term at the city of Detroit as a plumbing inspector. And then I was Henry Ford Hospital's plumbing inspector. Then Henry Ford Hospital hired me as their master plumber and construction manager. Went back to school, studied, as I was doing some classes anyway, became their project manager. The West Annex addition that's on West Grand River, that was my baby from a hole in the ground until we were pushing patients through the door. And then I decided to open my own business, which is where I am now.
Right. Talk about why we don't see more women in that field. Why aren't there more female plumbers?
Well, one thing is very challenging. It's dirty, and it's physical. But you have to remember now, I'm not a house plumber. I'm new construction. So the buildings that you see, I specialize in healthcare. Medical gas was my specialty. I have 26 years of experience in medical gas systems. So the new hospitals that were being built, I was installing all the oxygen, vacuum, all the systems in. And so you're in the elements. When it's 20 degrees or 20 below, you're working outside. When it's 90 degrees, you're working outside. So that's the one thing. Another thing is that women like to have pretty nails and hair. And so at the time,
hard to do,
it's extremely hard to do. And I had to dress and look like the men to fit in. I had the bibs, I had the flannel shirt, I had my hair tied up, no makeup, and no nails. And so I did what I needed to do to fit in.
Wow. That's amazing.
But it's a lucrative industry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, plumbers we all have to hire plumbers, so we know how much you actually make, right?
And which is one of the reasons I decided to stick with it, job security. Because every building has water in it. And the one thing a master plumber does is to protect your drinking water. So in Plumbers Local 98, we have a great apprenticeship program. This is 5 years. And you not only learn about how to protect the water, you also learn about welding. You learn your certification in medical gas systems. You learn about safety. So there's a lot involved in the 5-year period.
Lisa, talk about, when we heard these great stories here, talk about the things that still hold girls or women back from this level of success.
Well, I mean, it's really about diversity and inclusion. I mean, I would often say that diversity really is a matter of inclusion. If we can get to the fact that talent, regardless of what it is, whether it's a woman or a man, is what should show up. But we still have some mindsets that women aren't ready, just as she just said, for certain positions, and it's male-dominated. I grew up in General Motors and Chrysler, knowing what that is. So at the end of the day, we as women, when we are in those positions, can have a voice for other women. And so this platform is just about that, right?
Can any of you remember other female role models who stood out to you as people who you said, well, that person's doing it, I can do it too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, Lisa's exactly right. As a woman, you have obstacles that present themselves to you, children, getting married. I mean, you're the mom, and so those are things that are obstacles
Still
that you have
not
to overcome.
even in the household, right?
Right, exactly. And I had an aunt who was a very successful businesswoman. She's the superintendent today, Lake Orion Schools here in Michigan. She was the superintendent in Birmingham, 2 kids. She lost a child. She had a husband that had a very successful business. And I always looked up to her and watched, if she could do it, I could do it. And she was always a great role model for me.
What about you, Mycah? Are there other female fencers you're looking up to?
My role model would be Nzinga Prescott. She's a fencer from New York, and she was actually an Olympian. And she just recently graduated from Columbia. And I'm sort of like her. Like she started fencing when she was about 8 years old, and she's also African American.
Right?
So I'm walking in her path.
Yeah. What about you? As you said, you're the first.
I'm the first, and still the only one.
Is that right?
I've had my master's license now 30 years, and I'm it.
Yeah.
But President Brenda Jones,
Council President.
Council President Brenda Jones. She's a skilled trade task force meeting.
Yes.
I'm a member of that, and we're recruiting girls and talking to women about this is a lucrative industry. The skilled trades is an excellent way for you to be able to take care of your family and have job security.
And it's not just plumbing. I mean, all of the construction
trades
deal with this deficit.
And now we have this, all the building boom that's going on in the city. We're having a definite deficit of trying to manage and put all people in these positions.
Well, go ahead.
And if I might say, part of our platform is really sharing what we can do with other young women. Michael is that. She was the Rising Star this year for 2017, and she received a $1,000 scholarship towards her goal, but that's based on my mom. It's in her name, so that we can show that women supporting women, and she can see what this looks like.
That it actually works.
Yes.
All right. Well, great.
But may I say
program.
something, Mr. Hess? I have to applaud Dr. Wicker, because she's come to Detroit, and because I work in a male-dominated industry, she's introduced me to women that I had never would have had opportunity of meeting. And like this young lady here, and with you, this has been a fabulous opportunity, and I want to say thank you, because what she's doing is outstanding for not just young women, but for women in general.
Yeah, no, it's a great program,
much.
and congratulations.
Congratulations
to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org, and you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.